A victory in game one for Victory 5. That's how it should have been, said a lot of fans out there, because Victory 5 on the verge of being this team in the top 8, but this is a must-win game for them. Hello and welcome back. My name's Jake Hysterics, Aussie Penko. Get that pen away from me. This is Jimmy Preacher Fu, and this is game number 2 after what was a very nice early game from Victory 5.
What did that pen do to you? But yeah, that was a very beautiful game. Look, hard disagree, but also hard agree with the game itself. I think it was just a display of how this team can really mesh together, especially with a whole lot of changes coming on.
Even though Ben4 had such a good early game, there was one player that stood out as well in that mid game. And of course, it was Korn on the Lysandra. Had some beautiful team fights. And let me just say, this man impresses me by the day.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he also has a perfect game, 7-0-11, and we didn't even notice it because he looked like a sideline for the other players, that is real testament to how he plays. The fact that we just expect it and we just don't notice it if it doesn't change.
Also, it's because it was super hard to pick between him and the rest of the damage source coming through. When you have Wuji on one side and Kalua, you go, okay, the bottom lane will be quiet, but I think their Y4 and Lei had a very stable game. The Kalista had themselves a pretty good game, but I believe we do have V5 on blue for this second game. So this, for me, says, all right, let's just,
let's get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
sure,
get that red, because pretty much the LPL has been going on for long enough that we know that there's a difference in win rates between blue side and red side. It is convincingly going towards blue 56% of the game. So we need to see how exactly these teams adapt to it.
I'm curious how that will change in 9.4.
Of course.
Very different patch, very different priorities. Things like the Rek'Sai being looked at on the red side, but last pick rotation there as well. In the early game wasn't as impactful as Ben4's Aatrox, and that Aatrox made things happen. I feel like we just got more montage of mid bottom lane here from his Aatrox.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what I wanted to talk about. You said, how is it going to change in 9.4? My question to you is the exact opposite. How is it going to stay the same? Because Aatrox is taken out of the meta, but Ben4 goes for him anyway. If you check out the way that this team plays, it looks as if, even though there are changes, they play as if there weren't. They play their style, they don't really get phased out, and they just make sure that they build on what they need to build on, which is their teamwork and synergy.
Just interested here because Ben4...
I mean, the fact that Korn survived.
Got away with murder. Shuzu knew he was there.
Yeah, that was a little bit crazy. And even the extra kill at the very end there, that's just disrespect.
Janian tries to come back down, but it was the early game from V5 that absolutely styled over Rogue Warriors. Rogue Warriors have been having a lot of issues this split, but we know that's because they lost 4 of their members. Flawless, Mouse, you lost yourself Doinb, like you lost SMLZ, all going to top tier teams. Mouse, of course, just disappeared, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But all these players going to top tier teams, and you've got Kalua left on his own, like, man, how am I going to bring this team into the freshest 2019? And so far, it doesn't feel like they have an answer to that.
No, unfortunately not. His Thresh plays look all right, but he didn't actually find any key picks within that last game. So he really needs to step that up or just stop picking the Thresh, because that's the reason why you pick the champ,
It's super hard and when Rogue Warriors do not have a composition that's like, hey, we're good. We can just keep losing kills and we'll be fine. We'll bounce right back.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have a team that doesn't really synergize in terms of team fights, and they don't really have any individual mechanics that can put them forward in lane in a straight 1v1. So instead, they rely on these counter picks in order to really get themselves into the rest of the game. I think that really falls on Stake more than anybody else to really set them up for that victory. You said that Kalua is remaining, but they still got a key support member.
I do like, however, that they gave Zhao Yun the Kled in the top lane. I mean, the Kled seemed to be the most impactful in that game anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's anything to look at and go, all right, cool. Well, Zhao Yun, something like a Yorick. So there's carry potential in that top lane. Love to see Shuzu focus up in that top lane, because there are no subs. So we're going to see the exact same V5, the exact same Rogue Warriors as well. And for V5, let's just understand how this team works, because their compositions have been pretty good, right? It's just been sometimes a bit of mis-execution. The individuality doesn't shine. Or next time, we'll get them next time, but their team comps, or Ben4's on something crazy, or fun, or Gragas.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the way... The way that he actually wants to approach this game is he wants to build on what he knows works out of meta. So what? I'm going to pick it anyways. I think that that's one of the best things about them. It might not work against the top tier teams of the LPL, but are looking to fight for their lives, and so are you, then that could be one of the ways that you stand out.
Xiaoyun, not surprised the way the game is going. You know, a lot of favor. Because V5 at the moment, again, I said this over and over, but you need to remember that V5 is now under threat in the game, but that cannot be understated here. That for Rogue Warriors, for them even more so considering they're towards the bottom of the ladder, and this one win looks like it could affect their runnings forever.
And if nothing else, and they have something to prove against their rivals, both Victory 5 and from the LDL last year, and now they're trying to prove to the entire world that there is a competition of which one can get ahead.
Of course, for Rogue Warriors, a lot of the players did bringing themselves in for a team like Victory 5, obtaining the position for this LPL as we move to 16 teams in the split. And let me tell you, wait till next year we go to 18. I love the LPL, I love Game 2, I love Rogue Warriors and V5. What fun compositions are we going to see this time? Well, Dogate and Steak, tell me. As we move,
bans are off the board. I like the targeted ban of the Riven in specific against Jinu. And also you just got to take off Zoe in general, because with all of her counters taken off, there's not a lot you can do. Apart from that, it's standard all across.
Yeah, I would also say that Huatin has played that in the past. We'll see. Exact same sides again. Ban of the Aatrox. Now look at what's open still. It's Korn's Lysandra.
Yeah, and while you do ban out something that was such a nuisance to your team, you forget about the MVP play. When Korn came out with that massive 7-0-11 last game, you all feared it, but you didn't ban it away, and now you're paying for it in game number 2.
So yeah, V5 build around this once again. It was first pick game 1, now first pick in game 2, but Rogue Warriors have the opportunity and slam down on their bottom lane carry. That's going to be a big matchup in the making here for Wuji. I take this very seriously. Yankos still plays Karthus jungle, but it will be the Rise. Just think about that, ladies.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but instead we've got to turn our eyes towards the ADC. I want to see when Wuji builds the Spear of Shojin, or if he builds it at all, because it's a very good one. Cycle that.
We'll be going up against a Kalista.
All around the Baron, you know that there's going to be...
This time, though, you're going up against a Lucian rather than what they experienced in game 1.
Then that could definitely get them ahead. Rogue Warriors, their strengths, they definitely got the counter pick for Y4 gets his boots, because he doesn't...
So from Rogue Warriors, the 80 carries were used to shape here in this series. With banned away, the Nocturne here for Ben. Considering you already banned Aatrox.
Do you respect the fact that Rogue Warriors can... And more importantly, when will they do it? Will they either do it after this, or will they do it last? Will they do it at all?
I mean, you listen to me, Bridge. I'm so sorry. That's Rose pick up Karthus here. Oh, I still But hang on, you know, never mind.
It's not yet to be banned away is the Renekton and
the board targeted towards Zhao Yun. Shuzu wants to have another crack.
I saw the successes of the Rek'Sai last game. It was that his team fell behind. It was pretty much Ben Fall's proactivity. So if he picks up this Rek'Sai again, I hope to see him just use his
him picking it up, that's for sure. V5, then pick up the Aurelia. One to the other foot, but that could be a Jinnu Aurelia tops. But it's Jarvan instead. All right.
But over on the other side, come on. Likely he's got the Spear, but another champion who works very well with Spear. We're seeing him hovered right now, and they do, of course, need a late game in order to ensure that they have a carry.
Further than that, going into the Aurelia, you know, locked in. Zhao Yun continues to play the carry. And I want to see him succeed. And Jax into the top side of the map. And Ben4, he picks up the Jarvan, so you know exactly where he's going to go. Remember that bottom lane. 5 minutes in. Consistency is key here for V5's jungle.
And as far as laners go, I think that Jax will have a very good time into the Aurelia because Aurelia doesn't output, she does. Jax will be able to just dodge it all out, make sure that she gets stunned up. And there's not a lot of disengage either, so there's no real window in which she's joining him.
Yeah, once you're all the way into Jax, he'll press Counter-Strike, you won't move anywhere. And you will find yourself in a predicament. But Aurelia vs Jax, not the only exciting matchup. We want Sylvan. And for Ben4, the Jarvan hasn't been his mainstay, but it's definitely been a champion that's been rising. Jarvan just looks so good at the moment, consistent to the key of this team. This time though, however, Jinnu, I don't expect to see the Comet on Aurelia like we did on Camille. Looking forward to seeing the, what do we do? The Mr. Axe.
What, Conqueror?
Thank you so much.
You're looking forward to seeing the Conqueror from Aurelia. What exactly gets picked up by the Jarvan, as we can also see the Electrocute or to play more support. What if we have seen some, so that could potentially work out.
Yeah, Cinderhawk, probably the most standard, but Electrocute, especially in our first series here tonight. Rogue Warriors, and it will be such a testament to their ability to recover, to bring it back in game 2. They have a winning bottom side. Remember, the Hail of Blades here from Y4 can play spoiler a little bit, but of course they're in the 2v2. But will we focus there, or we start looking towards the jungle matchup again? Ben4 says yes, and we can't agree more.
Yeah, alright, you guys calm down over there. Not too sure what you're doing in the audience.
I like how the JD manager has swapped sides, former man RW shot caller. Well, when I say shot caller, you know I mean voice.
Yeah.
So
he has their vocal cords because right now he's pretty much tearing it out just for them.
He needs to be. Triple Conqueror in this game. Phase Rush on the rise. Hail Blades, of course, over into the Callisto. And to answer your question, Electrocute, of course, pretty much being the standard here on the Jarvan. So nothing too surprising in the... Surprise me, we see Sorcerer on the Rek'Sai. I like that, of course.
Yep, and I'm not too surprised about any of this, but one thing that I like is the fact that there are double Aftershocks coming out Fifi frontline. Even if Korn is going to build full damage, it means that he can at least tank a whole bunch of hits away from Hua Tian and also Wuji. It also means that the extra threat that's provided from a Lissandra who just does not die will be a little bit too much for Rogue Warriors to deal with if they clump together.
We saw ourselves a Comet back on the Lissandra, courtesy of Rookie. The last V5 matchup. It's quite interesting to see that still the versatility on the Lissandra, but still back to Aftershock here in 9.4. It is, of course, the first day of English broadcast in the LPL where we do go back to We do progress to 9.4 finally.
This is very smart coming out from Zuju, because he's just trying to use his tremor senses to know exactly where Ben 4 is. He doesn't quite want to verse a Jarvan so early into the game, but he can completely avoid it on that they just went up.
Well, Rogue Warrior is going to secure double scuttle though. This is smart. They have the push in the lane. They can move up to get Scuttle absolutely free. 70 gold over to Wuji.
Yeah, I mean, the 70 gold is a lot of experience, and if your jungler isn't around because he's been using the top side a bit too much like Zuju has, what you want to do is you want to avoid Ben 4 from getting that.
Exactly right. Are having a sneak peek. Time Warp Tonic is absolutely broken. Just so good. The healing is nuts.
Yeah, especially when you get Corrupting Potions so early. You just get so much survivability into this matchup, and more importantly, if there ever is a 1v1, that will make the difference if you can get that extra true damage bleed off.
I'll tell you what, if you don't agree with me, tweet at me. At Razzle LPL. There's a small lead in that top lane, so even though Time Warp Tonic is looking good, there's the lead going over to Jinu while the bottom lane is being visited by Ben 4. Lane gank in the making here, but I think he's just backed away instead while Raptors were taken by Shuzu and the ever...
It's going to be a vision game all around, especially from Shuzu. He just wants to roam around the map as he possibly can while he farms out distance to his lanes. If you check out where the vision is laid out for his team, very forward wards coming out from Rogue Warriors, given the fact that they have no real business being inside of the river. They're just trying to get vision down so that they aren't from Ben 4, so that he doesn't have that stellar game that he had in game number 1.
It's a much slower game so far, and that's going to make the difference here for Ben 4 to work towards the bottom side. A lot of priority usually on that Scuttle Crab, but having lost it seems to be a good reaction here from Rogue Warriors. Ben 4 might actually just come to the same position he was in game 1, but pings have already come down. They have an inkling that Ben 4 is here. He'll just poke his head in, get more vision and more priority towards Crumbs, but backs away. His Corn's not there yet.
Yeah, he's just also trying to return that in kind. Obviously not able to play this game out as well as Shuju. I also think that if Ben 4 is ever going to walk into the enemy jungle, even just to pop a plant like that, then he needs to, at the very least, be ready to bring backup. Because if at any point he gets collapsed on, like that situation where he could have been, then that could have been very deadly.
Could have been. She's now down in the bottom lane.
Gets spotted out by that Poro.
Which is pretty easily done here from V5. Y4 in lane. Won't really just wait for the push to come back. You can see that Uzu is at respawns. Maybe is he just positioning? Is there even a scuttle there? Yeah, there should be.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, so he's trying to pick that one down because the extra vision, once again, it really is just up to the vision to determine how this early game is going to go. There's already control ward that was laid down. Watch out for how these junglers spoil the enemy, because right now what they're effectively doing is they're laying down this vision and they're telling their laners to back off, but they're not making any proactive plays using that knowledge.
They're playing spoiler right now. It's Shuzu who's winning in that game. He's got pretty much the same CS here, but is playing the Rek'Sai early game to a much better fruition. Ben 4 is ahead by just a little bit of a margin, but absorbs some of that mid lane experience. As Korn is now level 6 and won't matter too much, but Ben 4 with that early control ward is able to get to the top side of the map. But what is he going to do with it? It's been such a slow early game, but Korn and Ben 4 want to speed this up.
Yeah, they're looking to get a 3-man dive down onto Zhao Yun, and his Counter-Strike.
Oh, no.
Here we go.
Too late. Flag, drag, sad. B5 strike burst.
And the Flash ultimate is exactly what you want to see starting that one out, Hysterics. In order to stop him from jumping to one of the minions, you lock him down until there are no minions that can get him out to safety. And by that time, you've got so much damage.
Such a big wave that runs into the turret. And he wants it. You can have it back, but there's still going to be a lead for Jinu. And although he didn't get the of Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, and they also knew that Shuju was nowhere around in order after they put down a control ward. It's in the second game. While the first one was about brute power and sheer ganks, the second one will be about knowledge and about intelligence.
As that we've seen so far, this early pressure that he's applying is 6-minute ganks.
And the fact that he can play both of those two styles, that's testament to this player. So even if he doesn't pick up MVP in the second game, we still need to give huge acknowledgement to the fact that this team cannot revolve without him.
Interesting to see his versatility on champions as well. It's just not the Aatrox, it's how this band plays. He's behind 10 CS, but won't matter considering he got his mid lane ahead. Korn is in such a good position once again, and Xiaoyun is not. Jinu, Vanguard's edge is there, bounces away. Remember, Xiaoyun takes damage just for exiting here. Ultimate popped on, but for Xiaoyun, Counter-Strike here. He gets the stun, but Flash, flawless duet. And how flawless was that? 2 solo kills, 2 games. Jinu does it again.
And even though Xiaoyun steps back with the Counter-Strike, he still gets taken down in transit with the Flash. It was too beautiful to watch.
This is the response though from Rogue Warriors. Although they're losing the top side and losing it fast, they're going to go for the invade, get red as a 4-man unit and leave. But V5, they're collapsing on this. And
yeah, here's Lei.
Lei looks for the headman pulverize. He finds 2. For Y4 still chasing this up, gets this, goes up, but Ben 4 in corner coming in. The flag, Cataclysm on 3. Ben 4 in the back line. Y4's already rendered 1. We're fighting in the exact same place again, Preacher. And V5 know how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, and apparently that's all they need to do it.
V5, they spring the trap. They did it in game number 1. And once the Warriors, why are you falling for this? You know for certain that you go in with 4 members much in terms of resources, somebody's going to get caught out. And as it turns out, it was more than you wanted.
And look at what the hero of that play was. Early mobility boots from Lei. The Alistar pick is so good in the LPL, it makes me go home at night, cry into a pillow, and moo like a cow. With this game so early on, getting a gold lead, V5, 2K, Mountain Drake, and another elemental coming up in Infernal. Let's watch again.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, he was just bullying out his opposition over here. He goes in with the headbutt, although he gets thrown in for a second knockup, which is enough for his team to catch up, combined with Ben 4 locking everybody down. And after that, it's pretty much just Y4 taking all the credit with the damage.
Yeah, 2 kills early on for the Kalista. Almost Blade of the Ruin King picked up. And this is what Rogue Warriors are resorting to with such an early gold deficit. And Infernal coming up next. They need bottom side priority and fast. Y4 and Lei can potentially still get out of this, but no fates called, no unbreakable will, so maybe this looks a bit harder than it should be.
Yeah, they have decent knowledge, but there's no real impetus for V4 to walk forward past the point of no return. So while this is a good gank, it's relying on them to go beyond their means.
Lei's like, I know. He definitely knows. Drops the ward down. Great timing from the support of V5. Spoils the 30-second wait time that Shuzu was there for.
Yeah, that's a big angry emote right over there. That was a lot of time wasted by Wuji. He also wasn't last hitting the wave, which means that he lost out a little bit in terms of the farm. You could see that represented between the 2 ADCs. And while all of that was happening, it's just free will over on the top side for Ben 4.
Shuzu needs to get in one of these other lanes. Korn pushing up freely. Top lane is losing out fast, and Junu's just dominating this matchup. That kill has set him up for success. Even further on, and the Rift Herald's going down too. If that flawless duet lands, maybe under turret, even with the ultimate available, I don't think he's going to die, but we'll see.
Yeah, and it's Derek. Look, it's before 14 minutes. That's what I love to see in terms of Rift Heralds. If you can pick it up, and if you can just drop it in a lane, if nothing else, for the charge, then you just get so much gold out of it that it becomes so effective. And oh my god.
There's Vanguard's edge. Counter-Strike does land. Remember, Aatrox, or not Aatrox rather, the Rex size here, but it's too late. Xiaoyun can't make the 2v1 himself.
And in between all of that flurry, you have to notice that Junu actually sidestepped the Prey Seeker, which means that Shuju could not use his ultimate to join the fight. And before anybody could even do anything, Xiaoyun was taken down.
It's literally like a missile. It can't miss anymore. And that's pretty understandable that the fight could have been turned around here for Rogue Warriors, but it wasn't. That's the biggest issue. The top lane continues to get resources. There's a Trinity Force in the making at 11 minutes in. All the components to be a fed. Successful Aurelia. And although a couple of patches ago we may have lost Aurelia with the nerfs. Conqueror's deck into this game. And we've already seen it work.
I mean, admittedly, having a jungler like Ben 4 also gives you a window back into this game. If
I
had a choice for a duo, then I would definitely choose him no matter where I was playing on the map. So it really does make sense that even though it wasn't a terrible matchup for the Jax, Zhao Yun still is falling behind in the top lane just because of the interference.
I mean, he's level 8 to level 10 on Jinnu. But it's going to happen after a Counter-Strike, so Jinnu waiting and patient with his time. Still taking heavier trades here from Zhao Yun, who has the same components of the Trinity Force without the tier.
We're seeing the effects of this gold grab.
We're going to take a charge here as well. That gold going to extend here with a full charge. Turret plating over to Y4 and Ben 4.
That was nearly 3 plates.
Last one not going to be taken down just in time, but next wave's coming up anyway.
Ooh,
well defended. Turret plate does come down in the end. Big hard push here. See if Rogue Warriors stick around.
Yeah, I don't really think that they can under their turret because they know that Shuju is not around. And by the time that he makes it, it might be a little bit too late. He's roaming with Hua Tian though, so if there was a potential dive in the bottom side, they can join very easily, but they give this one up almost way too easily. Considering
that Hua Tian has himself the Archangels, now join some of these fights, but waiting for that to stack up completely. Ryze needs some time to get online, but Korn is already in that position. So you see the change in matchup and how it affects this mid lane, especially since Korn going into a rookie of the split in Hua Tian.
The opponents of V5 coming up very fast and very heavy in terms. One is slow, calculated, and choking. They use vision, and they also, well, they don't get caught out, and second of all, they cash their enemies out.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want to do. Ben 4 hanging around the side here. Control war to be contested, but not by Rogue Warriors for any standard. That is exactly what I was expecting. It's all in the top side, really. There's a 6,000 gold lead at 14 minutes in the game. Infernal, they're waiting. And V5 could probably just take this away. Look at the vision line, and it's so hard to contest this if you're Rogue Warriors right now. Rek'Sai, Jax on the top side as well. But V5 have other understandings right now. Pick up the mid lane wave, put some pressure on, and then go for this dragon.
And you know that you're straight up having a bad time if your top laner needs your jungle to constantly hold his hand just to make sure that he can last hit with relative safety. But as soon as Jinnu comes back into this lane, I expect that Zhao Yun would either leave out of respect or have a very tough time fighting.
Well, both top laners do have teleport. Ren with Smite is going to be quite easy to secure, but when does it come through? The flash here from Lei, discussing with 4 members now as Korn jumps in as well, locks down with the Frozen Tomb, Cataclysm as well. These easy team fight compositions for V5 as here comes the top lane Aurelia. Just locks him down with the Vanguard's Edge, and Zhao Yun stuck in the middle of nowhere. Lei's already picked himself up. His 80 carry, rather, a triple kill, and they're looking for more. Y4, quadra kill there on Kalista, and 601 feels darn good on the Green Lady.
Get out of there. That was such a good play coming out from the ADC, and more importantly, in that fight, Zhao Yun teleported before Jinnu, but Jinnu still had a bigger impact in the fight. How is that possible? Because the combination of Y4 and Lei managed to keep the Kalista alive and managed to give her all the lead that she needed.
Yeah,
she deserves that.
Observer picks it up after a quadra. Out of his mind, though.
Yeah, and we just got Y4 play this. Lei is tanking it all up, and that culling doesn't hit any in the middle of this team fight. Everybody flashes over for the peel, and Wuju gets taken.
It's just so simple to execute. Jarvan in, Lysandra in, Aurelia in, Y4 and Lei, sorry, just mid-burp, halfway in as well. And it just seems simple.
That was a beautiful play coming out here. And look, if you can honestly defend your AD or you deal with him, yeah, then that's just a difficult position for Rogue Warriors. Like I said, this isn't the fast-paced game that we saw in game number 1. This is very slow and methodical. They're taking fights they know that they can win. And look at that, they're winning it.
I mean, while it's not fast-paced in the early game, well, big team fights that are fast-paced within themselves. And now with an Aurelia with Trinity Force, with Ludenzek already picked up from Korn, on his way to his second item, 2 items on Y4. For Rogue Warriors, at a 9,000 gold deficit, they are losing absolutely everything. And they need time, but time's just not going to be given from V5.
And an ultimate sign of form coming out from V5 as they go into a very rough schedule is simply perfect gaming your enemies. Despite the fact that Rogue Warriors are not standing very highly, any sort of perfect game that can be achieved at all, especially in the level of caliber that we have.
I'm not even sure I'm confident in here. Flawless duet while the top lane.
Okay.
Taken out by 2. Continues to digress. 10,000 gold now. This is not stopping. Red buff going to go over 2. V5 continues out in the bottom lane. Jinnu has the push, has the pressure, and continue to lose things here for Rogue Warriors at 18 minutes up. There's not even a Baron to make this faster.
You know what this looks like, Hysterics? This isn't a replay of game number 1 because obviously it's slower and more calculated, but it looks like a montage of game number 1 where they do the similar plays, but they don't make any of the mistakes that they made. And in turn, they are just getting so much for themselves that cannot be counted.
Rogue Warriors can't defend the inhibitor turret. It goes down as well. 11. Count your times because it's 18 minutes and no one on Rogue Warriors has a kill. No turrets either. On track for the perfect game. And Infernal's coming up for V5. They do not look weak in the knees here. In fact, for V5, this will cement them going forward that they're still a team to beat.
I don't use this term lightly, but I think that this is a bonkers game. V5 are about on the path to perfect game Rogue Warriors. I think that pretty much what this signifies is that they've learned all of their weaknesses from the first game. They're not making mistakes or positional errors where they can get caught out by the Saiga Rogue Warriors, and they acknowledge the fact that their front line is key to absolutely dismantling the enemy who, if you get something like a culling down onto people who tank it up, then it doesn't do a whole lot.
It doesn't, not at this stage when you only have one item. There's a Magi's absolutely fantastic. I mean,
this is what you love to see.
I mean, this Korn's feeling good. Why wouldn't you? Look at Jinnu. He's asleep.
Yeah, pretty much this is just a perfect game tracker alert. We'll just tell you if it's not actually a perfect game, but it looks very difficult for V5 to lose this one out. Zhao Yun wants to play spoiler.
I mean, having said that, I think Zhao Yun, can he 1v1 this out of the Hex deck?
Doing it.
Rather the ultimate there for Jinnu. Yes, he can. Zhao Yun can't. Conquerors comes in. Let me just say that. And it's better for Jinnu here. Trinity Force versus Trinity Force. Unfortunately for Zhao Yun, just too close.
Yeah, that's what happens when a 0-4 goes against a 2-0-3. It kind of looks as if the Irelia is just too far ahead, although it was the perfect timing coming out from Zhao Yun. He couldn't have played it any better. I just don't think he should have gone for the play.
It doesn't matter. You got to do something at this point for Rogue Warriors. They need to make something happen. Baron is up. Infernal coming up there as well. And Rogue Warriors progressing towards that Baron, but look at the double split here. Jinnu is pushing it away, waiting for someone to respond to him.
Yeah, this is just across to their opponents that are about to come up. They're up against some fairly tough competition, especially TOP is one of the hardest. Here's a collapse.
This is a Realm Warp though. Korn goes in. He's got 1v3 to deal with now. 2v3 as Jinnu's ready to jump back in. Shuzu here as well. Vanguard's dead. Is it available? Not this time as everyone's jumping in. It's Ben4 on the backside. They find themselves another tasty Jax as well. Kalua can't handle this as well. Flawless duet onto Kalua again. The culling. Can it burst out anyone? 15-0 from V5.
That is a succulent play coming in. The Realm Warp doesn't do a whole lot for Rogue Warriors, and immediately once they take down 3 members, you know it's Baron time.
They got to make something happen here. You can see Rogue Warriors trying to get the picks. And to be fair, they had no clue where Korn was, but they don't know where anyone is at this point in the game. Baron going to be forced by the TP. Here we go. Who gets absolutely no one?
Yeah, Shuju's not even going to go close. He knows it is happening, but there's no contest available. I think the one thing that V5 are showing to the rest of the league by the fact that they are doing so well in this game and they're perfect, because if you put any other team in this situation, they might not. Checking over with this play again, we see the best possible play that Rogue Warriors could have done, but the vulnerability coming out from Korn lasting for so long while his team gets the time to collapse was too punishing going over for Rogue Warriors. The best play that they could have done gets absolutely dismantled.
Lay tanked up that whole turret experience as well. Warriors falling into a pit of despair. Items on the 80 carry of Y4. Bloodthirster picked up. up second, which we saw in for V5, showing no signs of weakness. Double Infernal. And at this point, you're just hoping, Zhao Yun, keep farming. You could do it. Give me my blue.
Let's roll. Let's hope for the 6-item jacks. I doubt it's going to happen, but...
6-item jack?
Yeah.
I mean...
That's what we need to look forward to. It's the only way.
More of a hope than a... Could be a pipe dream at this point. God, 6 items.
It's not going to happen.
No.
Let's just be honest here. It's not going to happen, and especially when you take a look at the items over on V5.